Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel, thank you. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Perfect World based on novel. So let's start. Outside the restricted area, the enormous stone monument shone. The scenes the sect masters saw were engraved there, so everyone could see them. Ning Chuan is fighting a great battle against a male, but I don't recognize him at all. No, that person has a name, another ancient freak named Li Fanming. Even though he only came out once before sealing himself again, rumor has it that he killed a four-crown king in another era. When everyone heard this, they couldn't help but gasp. Then, sect masters wrote down Immortal Palace Inheritor's name on a flower petal. To their surprise, he was also fighting a great battle, moreover an extremely intense one. What kind of person is that? Many people cried out in shock. They stared at the scenery on the sparkling stone monument, revealing a look of great surprise. Immortal Palace Inheritor's opponent was a male with heaven overflowing flames. In his hands was a corner of a divine disc. It erupted with terrifying divine might, reincarnation disc a corner of it. A few sect masters were even shocked until they widened their eyes. Impossible. Even though this kind of supreme treasure is damaged, it still cannot be brought inside. Someone shook their head, not believing this. That disc is a bit strange, unable to display the supreme treasure's power. Is that why it was brought inside? This stone monument triggered a commotion. Many people surrounded it to watch the battle. Where is 10 Crown King, the one known as the most powerful supreme expert? Hurry and write his name. Someone urged. Soon after, a figure appeared. Only that place was extremely calm, not fighting a great battle against anyone. He continued heading forward, about to enter the brightly colored world. Right, wasn't there an ancient freak that had never ignited a divine flame, using the cultivation of supreme expert to miraculously obtain the first rank? Let's see how things are going on for him. Soon after, a creature appeared on an enormous monument. This scene was quite calm as well, no one competing against him. It was clear that no other creatures of similar level were on his path. Who is that? It seems to be the Celestial Clan's methods. Everyone was suspicious. The Celestial Clan's exceptional talent Yu was nowhere near this powerful. This person also had world-shocking divine abilities, powerful to a ridiculous level, leaving others with a feeling of disbelief. Don't tell me that he was the long-lost three-stone heavenly ruler. A sect master spoke. Hurry and write down three-stone heavenly ruler's name, give it a try. As a result, as soon as the name was finished, it reflected this individual. It was clear to see that this was the three-stone heavenly ruler that had been lost in the river of history. He unexpectedly didn't die. At this moment, he was fighting 5 young supreme beings alone, every one of them extremely terrifying. However, they were all suppressed by him. How formidable. Worthy of being a legendary character. The people here wrote down names that had dazzled the past and present one after another, revealing their current situation. After seeing them, there was none who weren't shaken, their hearts rising and falling greatly. What about Huang? Where is he? What is going on with him? Wu, there is that sinner's blood descendant as well. Let's see where he has ended up and what he is doing. A few sect masters spoke like this. At the same time, from immortal heavenly deity Qin Changsheng's side, someone said softly, Old ancestor, should we try and see if that youth of the lower realm is still alive? Recently, I heard a few secret rumors. Sin, where was he? What was he doing? A group of deities cared a lot about this. They stood together, their expressions unkind. He unleashed a great slaughter in spirit realm, massacred my sect's disciples, killed our followers. His hand is dyed with blood. I hope he doesn't immediately die in Immortal Ancient, instead experience repeated defeats before finally being suppressed and killed. Someone said. When the others heard this, they all nodded, carrying bitterness. They came from Phantom Drake Dao Gate, Fire Cloud Cavern, Lawfu True Valley and other sects. They personally experienced the Battle of Spirit Realm. The sinner's blood descendant unleashed a bloodbath, leaving them humiliated and resentful. It had already been many days since that battle, but they could still feel that type of domineeringness. True deities being killed, heavenly deities encountering disaster. That youth was like a devil king as he unleashed an absolute massacre in Spirit Realm. When some of them thought back to that day, they couldn't help but break out into a cold shiver. The impression that youth left them with was too great. It was like a nightmare. Fire Cloud Cavern's master was a red-haired elder. His stature was small, not all that imposing, but his eyes were quite bright. They were like 2 bloody moons as they released radiance. He walked out from a burning war chariot, carrying chaotic energy with him. With each step that descended, fire Dao symbols would appear in his surroundings, the great Dao aura world shocking. He faced the uninhabited region, activating divine force, using his hand to carve a word in the void. That sparkling flower petal became resplendent, producing great Dao patterns that illuminated the heavens. What a resplendent name, actually harmonizing with the Dao. Someone cried out with shock. A few sect masters looked over. At the same time, many deities and others looked towards the same monument. The images of the immortal Dao flower's petals were reflected here. They all revealed looks of shock. This name was indeed a bit strange. After engraving it, the flower petal became especially brilliant. Dazzling symbols interweaved, becoming as resplendent as a sun, flourishing with radiance. It was clear that it was more sparkling and translucent than a normal flower petal. It was extremely divine and holy. What is going on? Could it be that this name harmonizes with the great Dao? Many deities were stupefied. They stared at that enormous monument. It's the character Sin. Apart from Fire Cloud Cavern, Luofu True Valley and other sects cultivators, even a few great sects that were not related looked over. How could this character be like this? Many people frowned, a bit confused. One had to keep in mind that this was an impure character in the higher realms. It represented blood and guiltiness, now basically pointing at the creatures of Sin province. The one that appeared is him. Many people were stunned. The monument was like a river, reflecting the true scene of Immortal Ancient. They saw a youth that was rather unhurried and calm. No one was fighting against him. It was because he was at the very back, not moving forward, instead crossing realms, the one that lagged in the back. Quite a few people knew that this was the one that entered the Immortal Gate and stepped on the bluestone stairs last, the youth who even wanted to pluck out a few pieces of stone. He was quite different from the others, his arms on his back, continuously going from one realm wall to the next. He would cross over to another realm, and after stopping and taking some time to comprehend the Dao there, he would then break through another realm wall. Other people were moving forward while he was moving horizontally, Sinner's blood descendant. Many people clenched their teeth. Phantom Drake Dao Gate's people displayed the most vicious expressions. This youth's actions were tyrannical, killing many from their sect, and even a heavenly deity was ruined. He was struck by a soul-shattering needle, encountering an absolute disaster. At this point, he was basically a living corpse. Even with Phantom Drake Dao Master's personal treatment, he hadn't woken up. Of course, this was also a disaster they brought onto themselves. If they didn't refine those demonic needles to be so vicious, then later on having them seized by the youth and have them thrown right back, how could this have happened? What is he doing? This fellow was too strange, unexpectedly not in a hurry to move forward, instead, roaming about at the back, analyzing things step by step and silently comprehending. Could it be that he truly wanted to comprehend the 3,000 stone paths? Suddenly, that youth grinned towards everyone, releasing a smile that was especially radiant. His teeth were pure white, his eyes clear. He was like the boy next door, hateful, repulsive, disgraceful. Phantom Drake Dao Gate, Luofu True Valley's people couldn't help but shout outwards. This little monster's hands were dyed with blood, yet he was smiling so brilliantly. That youth is too sharp, his divine senses unimaginably powerful, not weaker than those ancient freaks. A sect master spoke. When Immortal Ancient was observed through the flower petals, the most talented geniuses would sense something. It was because the light the Immortal Dao flower's petals displayed, although weak, could still be captured by their senses. Was this a silent provocation? Suddenly, someone cried out in alarm. In the distance, a monument released heaven-reaching light. That was biting cold sword intent, as if chaotic light was erupting. It was clearly inside Immortal Ancient, yet it was as if it seeped out from the monument and shone over here. Who is that little fatty? He killed Earth Demon Sect's #1 young expert with a single move. Earth Demon Sect originally wanted to see how their own clan's hero was doing, yet in the end, he saw this kind of scene. The others naturally saw it as well, as a result calling out like this. On that path was a chubby youth. He looked rather simple and honest, however, his body suddenly erupted with hundreds of streaks of sword energy, shocking everyone here. He took action again. Everyone discovered with shock that Earth Demon Sect wasn't the only youth that took action. There were several well-known heroic experts that were there as well, but under the following sword light, heads tumbled on the ground. This youngster is too formidable. That's the higher realm's third killing formation. Someone's expression changed. Third killing formation. Many ancient inheritances' eyes became red. This killing formation was too well known, shocking past and present. It was unexpectedly carved within the body of that youngster. One has to understand that the first killing formation had never appeared, while the second killing formation was pretty much lost in inheritance. The third killing formation's power was ridiculously powerful, and once it was arranged, it could kill a sect master. It was rumored that it was a killing formation from primal chaos, one that was born when the sky first opened. His name is Cao Yushan. He previously made an appearance in Origin Sky Secret Realm. He has traveled quite closely with Huang. Someone spoke, speaking his name. Another streak of dazzling light flew out. Those that fought against Cao Yushan were all wiped out, and no one else dared to take action against him. That stone staircase became peaceful. He walked forward alone. Hurry up and see where Huang is. When they saw how, even though this little fatty looked harmless, his methods were so vicious, displaying his might here, they naturally wanted to know how Huang, who had previously joined hands with him, was doing. This time, it wasn't a single sect master that took action. It was because Huang had stirred up too much chaos. Huang, Underworld Earth's master, took action. A truly terrifying figure began to carve a name in the void. In his surroundings were endless white bones as well as black mist. Something's wrong. Did you write the wrong name? Why is it still him? Everyone was stupefied, feeling shocked. When the name Huang appeared on the flower petal, it displayed the true scene. The monuments displayed the same scene. A youth appeared, smiling like a flower as he faced everyone. He clearly sensed something, realizing that he was being inspected, so he took the initiative to look towards the void, towards everyone. Dark lines appeared on a few people's faces. Even though other freaks might feel something, they would definitely ignore it. This fella was too irritating. Isn't that the sinner's blood descendant? Why did he appear on the scene? Right, previously, he had slaughtered Fire Cloud Cavern and Phantom Drake Dowgate's people. Rumor has it that he even killed a heavenly deity. Someone uncovered this scar, making the faces of a few great sects people fall. Their hearts leak blood. Don't tell me that Sin is Huang. Huang is Sin. Someone said. After a momentary silence, discussions arose everywhere. Everyone seemed to have realized that this should be the case. He had two great identities. Heavens. Huang is Sin. Sin is Huang. No wonder I always felt like he came out from nowhere. He actually turned into two people. When the truth came out, this place could not calm down again, triggering a huge uproar. The cultivators of all sects were shocked. This Phantom Drake Dowgate, Fire Cloud Cavern, Luofu True Valley and other sects were seething with anger, their faces ashen. Only now did they know the true identity of their enemy. It truly is preposterous. A few heavenly deities couldn't sit still, truly wishing to immediately enter Immortal Ancient to kill him. This was especially the case when they saw that youth's brilliant smile. It was almost like a type of mockery towards them, making the root of their teeth sore. Correct, that was definitely mockery. It was done deliberately, facing the entire crowd, angering me to death. Someone roared with fury. Huang, Supreme Being Tao Right's disciple, Sinner's blood descendant, any one of these identities was enough to shake 10 provinces. He had done too many ridiculous things, his name shaking every sect. These were unexpectedly all the same person. Celestial Clan, Underworld Clan, Immortal Palace, Fire Cloud Cavern, there were too many people who couldn't calm down. This youth had two identities, both of them extremely sinister. This place couldn't calm down for a long time. Everyone stared at that monument, wanting to see him to the end. Only after a while had passed did a cry of surprise sound from a stone monument. Only then was this strange atmosphere dispelled. A powerful expert, ridiculously powerful, he has dual pupils. What? Where? Many experts swarmed over to stare at that monument. They were all shaken. That youth was too powerful, his eyes releasing two beams of light, sweeping through his enemies. That was a heroic youth, eyes more resplendent than a sunday. He didn't take action at all, only using his eyes to kill all enemies. The creatures that surrounding him numbered over 10, among them including powerful experts from great provinces. They were recognized by others: Golden Giant, Three-Headed Underworld Hound, Ifrit, Hidden Cloud Clan's Holy Lady. When these clans were named, everyone became shaken up. An enormous sound rang through the air. Dual pupils opened up heaven and earth. Those people all fell into the void, crushed to pieces. They were completely erased. A group of experts were killed. This was incomparably shocking, too powerful. Who is he? If I am not mistaken, he should be the dual pupil user from Heavenfall Academy. Rumor has it that he came from the lower realm. Soon after, the dual pupil user's identity was revealed, shocking a group of people. Not even the great sects could remain calm, because the dual pupil had a great reputation since the ancient past, rumored to be an undefeated legend. Dual pupils are indeed ridiculously powerful. He was personally guided by Heavenfall Province's old monster, passing down everything he knew. However, rumor has it that he was defeated once before. What? Who did he lose to? Many people's expressions changed. They all wanted to know, in a lower realm, to a youth named Shahao. The two carried out a world-shocking great confrontation. The dual pupils was defeated. This was also his only defeat. This made it difficult for many people to calm down. Such powerful dual pupils, this individual was definitely one of the most powerful young supreme beings, one that would definitely shine brilliantly in Immortal Ancient, yet he had been defeated before. Shahao, that youth, when this name was mentioned, some people knew what he had done before in the lower realm. How, if you were still alive, your name would definitely shake the world under heaven, right? Shining brilliantly here, by Qin clan's area, Shahao's mother had tears in her eyes. Shaziling clenched his teeth, not saying anything. He stared towards Immortal Palace. Let's take a look at my descendant. Immortal Heavenly Deity Qin Changsheng took action, carving down a name on the flower petal. Qin Hao, these two words shone brilliantly, releasing brilliant radiance. Then, the youth appeared, reflecting on the monument to his chest. As soon as Qin Hao appeared, it triggered large cries of shock. At his chest, immortal light pervaded the air, nourishing his entire body. It was simply impervious to all methods. In his surroundings, experts were swept flying one after another, not able to get closer to him at all. Isn't that Yang Province's most powerful expert? He was killed by Qin Hao. Thousand Feather Race's divine child was also defeated, penetrated by a streak of light from his chest. Too powerful. What kind of precious technique is that? Everyone cried out with shock. Many divine flame, true self-realm experts were moved. Even a few sect masters revealed looks of surprise. This youth was too extraordinary. His name is Qin Hao, Immortal Heavenly Deity's descendant, rumored to have two supreme being bones. Now, he has indeed grown up, becoming not simple at all. Even a giant praised like this, so others were naturally even more shocked. Everyone from Qin clan revealed smiled. Qin Hao's performance was too dazzling. Even Qin Yining, even though her eyes carried tears, she was still quite grateful, gradually revealing a smile. How could he have two supreme being bones? The higher realms were boundless, so not everyone knew the inner details. Not knowing the truth should be related to his brother. One bone was bestowed onto him before his death. When these words were spoken, everyone became stupefied, their minds shaken. A pair of supreme beings? How unfortunate. His older brother died, only able to pass down his bone. Even those that knew the inner details revealed looks of shock. They recalled the events of the past. That Shahao is not simple. The dual-pupiled user is related to him. Even though he died, he still created such a formidable younger brother. Quite a few people exclaimed in admiration. It was granted by the heavens. There were some people from Immortal Mountain who corrected. They did not like hearing this type of saying. Wu, is anyone willing to carve down the name Shahao? Someone asked. Everyone became puzzled. Why did they have to carve the name of a dead person? He didn't even come to the higher realms. Celestial clan might know something. When Celestial clan heard this, they couldn't help but be shocked. They immediately understood that their clan's secret was leaked out, being known by some people from the higher realms. Right at this moment, a large hand reached out from a bronze ancient palace that was surrounded by chaotic energy. It swiped out a few times in the void, writing the two characters Shahao. This was someone from Immortal Palace. He took action. The flower petals shone. The monuments produced the image, and in the end, the youth's figure appeared, still smiling as brilliantly as before. Everyone became stupefied. This was the third time he appeared, leaving everyone petrified, all of them dumbstruck. The third time. He unexpectedly appeared a third time. Everyone became stupefied, their expressions becoming rigid. They were truly seeing ghosts. The most irritating part of it was that smiling face, each time more brilliant than the last, so dazzling not even the moon and stars could compare. He took the initiative to face everyone, smiling just like that while standing there. I'm seeing a ghost. Why is it him again? Finally, someone screamed with a voice an octave higher. This was too strange. Over and over again, were they testing everyone's nerves? He had two great identities, and now a third one. It truly challenged the limits of what everyone could handle. A large group of people were stunned. That kind of expression truly was like a flower bud, sparkling and brilliant, bright and resplendent as he stared towards everyone. He was in need of a spanking. Impossible, definitely impossible. Some couldn't take this type of shock and cried out. They understood some inner details and knew who Shahao was. He died in the lower realm, and it was long verified. How can he jump back out? There is definitely some kind of problem, moreover an extremely great one. An expert shouted loudly. This scene was just too strange. Once or twice was one thing, but he unexpectedly appeared a third time, tormenting everyone's nerves, leaving even a group of sect masters speechless. This was especially the case for those who had come into contact with Huang or Sin and had grudges. They felt like they had been humiliated. This was definitely done on purpose. This youth purposely ridiculed them, using different identities again and again. It was clear from that smile alone that this brat was rotten from head to toe. I don't believe it is him. How can someone who many sides had already proven and many great sects personally saw die revive, moreover leaping and frisking about in the higher realms? There is some kind of conspiracy going on. This place could not calm down. Noise erupted, and it was unknown how many people rushed in front of this monument. They stared at the youth, discussing this loudly. In an instant, it was as if a flood swept through this place. Rumbling sounds rang through the air. Too many people were in an uproar, all of them discussing this. This was simply unbelievable. Everyone, I believe that this is definitely a conspiracy. It is all fake. Someone refused to acknowledge this and said, Immortal Ancient, on the Bluestone Path. Shahao's divine senses were extraordinary, so he naturally had a feeling that someone wrote his name 3 times, using the immortal Dao flower's petals to observe his current situation. That was why he was extremely cooperative, smiling happily and doing his best to raise his chest, lift his chin up towards the sky. His smile was pure and true. He blinked his eyes. Apart from this, he even waved his hands in a practiced manner, as if he was greeting everyone. In the outside world, a group of people vomited blood. This brat's face was truly thick. Was he purposely angering others? Sigh, I finally entered Immortal Ancient, don't have to be worried about those old shameless fellas anymore. I can return to being myself. Just wait for what I have in plan for you all when I come back. Shahao said softly. Those of the outside world naturally couldn't hear him, but they saw how his mouth moved. What kind of people were these? There were many deities, so they naturally understood his intent. A group of people's faces immediately darkened, finding it difficult to suppress their emotions. This was especially the case for Phantom Drake Dao Gate, Fire Cloud Cavern, Luofu True Valley, and others. These inheritances were the easiest to anger. Just now, they finally knew who their enemy was, ascertaining his identity, yet soon after, they discovered that this still wasn't his real identity. At this moment, they finally understood who that fella was. They were truly humiliated and indignant. A group of true deities' eyes surged with flame, truly wishing to devour him on the spot. Even a few heavenly deities couldn't take it. As they watched him smile happily, everyone felt as if they were slapped in the face in an extremely loud and clear manner. From here on out, I will return to being me, returning to my true self. Shahao said. He rubbed his face, and then his body unfolded as well. His 4 limbs and white bones cracked like fried beans. His body immediately relaxed. His appearance changed. His eyes were still clear and bright, but his appearance became much more handsome, the pretty exterior and delicateness carrying an aura of otherworldliness, able to be called divine like jade, extraordinary and transcendent. Now, he had already grown up. Compared to his previous tender and immature appearance, he had undoubtedly grown up. He was handsome and extraordinary, giving off an immortal Dao aura. I vow that from here on forth, I will be myself. No one can make things difficult for me any longer. Shahao seriously vowed. He was going to become strong in Immortal Ancient, strengthening himself, increase his power drastically. He was the ruler of his own path, no need to change into other bodies. It's him, it really is him. In the outside world, some people cried out strangely. They completely recognized him now. This was definitely the youth from back then. He was a head taller than before, more extraordinary in appearance than in the past. His tall body, thick black hair, fine facial features, long eyelashes, intelligent large eyes, together with his jade-like sparkling skin, formed a body that flowed with precious splendor. There was an indescribable type of style to his appearance. How can it be him? At this moment, Underworld Earth's people exploded. A dead person unexpectedly appeared. It was he who ruined our great plan. A cold and cruel voice sounded from the blood-dripping war chariot. It carried endless hatred. 7 deities went down into the lower realm, yet they were all stopped by a single youth, completely slaughtered. It was precisely done by this person. He was actually still alive, moreover arriving in the higher realms. How? A heart-tearing, lung-splitting cry sounded from Qin clan. Tears had long covered Qin Yining's eyes. She simply couldn't believe that figure was real. How many times had she woken up from this type of dream, only to drench her pillows in tears? How many times had she thought back? How many times had she reminisced about the past? She was always thinking about that child from the lower realm, believing that they would never meet again, that he would never appear in this world again. Yet today, in this place, in Immortal Ancient, that youth was alive and lively, unexpectedly smiling so brilliantly towards her. That type of liveliness, he was still alive. Those around her were shocked, looking over. This was Shahao's mother? A young supreme being's mother. Qin clan's people were stupefied. They never expected there would be this type of scene. That youth was living so healthily, to the extent where it could be said that he was more durable than a true dragon. He had stirred up too many major events, which one of them wasn't enough to shock all directions, shooting through the sky. In the end, he was still perfectly fine. The heavens finally opened their eyes, returning my child back to me. Qin Yining was crying, but also smiling, her emotions all over the place. She stared at the monument, towards that youth. Shi Ziling's breathing was hurried. He clenched his fists tightly, his blood surging. His eldest child was still in this world, making him feel as if the entire world became more colorful. Good, Hao, you are much, much stronger than us, relying on yourself to survive, moreover arriving in the higher realms. Shi Ziling released a low roar. His tiger eyes were also blurry, tears sliding down. At this moment, as the husband and wife were pleasantly surprised, they also felt endless shame and guilt. They felt like they hadn't taken good care of Shahao, making him suffer since childhood, endure too much bitterness. Moreover, at the final moments, they even watched him pass away, the two of them helpless in the face of such a crisis. What left them the most pained, what made them blame themselves the most was that before death Shahao unexpectedly removed his own supreme being bone, giving it to his only younger brother. That day, they felt as if their souls left them, the entire world becoming dull. They originally wanted to see if they could use the immortal bone in Qin Hao's body to save their eldest child, yet after a moment of hesitation, they missed the opportunity. In the end, the eldest son actually removed his own bone and gave it to their second son. Every time they thought of this, they wanted to weep greatly for Shahao, feeling that he was pitiful, too pitiful. He had never been properly cared for since he was young, and he even suffered that kind of wrong. He experienced endless torment, yet in the end, he was going to lay in the ice-cold grave alone in the lower realm. They weren't even able to accompany him afterwards. This Shahao, little stone whose name shook the lower realm, really is something. We all thought you were dead, yet you fumbled your way up yourself. Someone spoke, understanding the inner details. How could it be him? How did he manage to survive? Demonic Sunflower Garden's master said coldly, his voice carrying killing intent. It was to the extent where he even swept a glance over towards the Qin clan. Immortal heavenly deity's face was calm, not paying this any attention. Roar? From Underworld clan, a white bone mountain appeared. Black mists curled about, and there was an enormous shadow towering above it. This was precisely Underworld Lord. His face lacked color, extremely pale. His eyes were intimidating to the extreme. He roared out, underworld energy overflowing into the skies and deathly aura pervading the air. In the past, Underworld Earth, Beast Sea, Immortal Palace, Heavenly Country, Demonic Sunflower Garden, and more than 10 great powers exhausted great amounts of resources and paid a tremendous price to challenge the heavens' will, and only then did they send down a group of people. One has to understand that back then, Underworld Earth used up a supreme being-level void beast skeleton, an unmatched treasure. Apart from this, Heavenly Country also used a void furnace that had void immortal gold mixed in, just a trifling ant, yet he dares to meddle in our plans, even crawling to the higher realms. When you come out, your blood will definitely be offered as sacrifice to the demon blade. Within the blood-colored war chariot, Heavenly Country's lord said coldly. Everyone became stupefied. These were terrifying leaders of the higher realms who hadn't taken action for too many years. They were actually going to go so far for a youth, killed my Immortal Palace's servant. There is no way this can be allowed to pass. Immortal Palace also had people who spoke. This was a great storm. Everyone became certain that this was Shahao, the youth who came from the lower realm. There was no mistake. Heaven overflowing waves were stirred up. Sin, Huang, Shahao, 3 identities, any one of them enough to form a legend. He had done too many shocking things. Now, all 3 merged into one, fully exposed. This triggered a huge uproar. All of the great sects felt that this was inconceivable. Inside Immortal Ancient, on the stone stairs, Shahao raised his head towards the void. I reckon that many people are looking at me, right? He was right, but there was no way he would have imagined just how many people it was. All of the cultivators of the higher realms that were able to come were pretty much staring at him right now. Attention of 10,000 eyes was far from being enough to describe this. A few old things are probably going mad right about now, venting out their hatred against me. However, what's the use? Heavenly Country's old turtle is the most vicious. Do you want to assassinate me? Don't worry. Wait for me to come out, and then I'll chop you up to get revenge for Ghost Grandpa. Also, you seem to have sent disciples in, right? Aren't you guys known to be killing Dao cultivators, your assassination methods unmatched? I definitely won't fear death when I return and call you all out on your sneaky, skill-less hidden vicious methods. Everyone couldn't hear him, but from how his lips were moving, they knew his intentions. They were all stupefied, and a few people almost laughed out loudly. He unexpectedly dared to ridicule Heavenly Country's lord. Of course, there were those who wanted to cough out blood as well, for example, those killing Dao deities. They all narrowed their eyes, their pupils flickering with cold radiance. Their finger joints were becoming pale from their clenched fists. The number of people who want to deal with me aren't few, right? Underworld Earth Sponge definitely aren't good things either. Half man, half ghosts, when the time comes, I'll settle things with you all as well. Right, I never ate creatures from the Underworld clan. When the time comes, I'll roast some non-humanoid Underworld clan experts to see what kind of flavor ghosts have. When these words were spoken, many people almost bit their own tongues, and others watched helplessly. There were even a few who wanted to laugh. Did this youngster really dare to eat anything? I am not joking, you know. Shahao muttered, then he said, Immortal Palace is too hypocritical. Back then, they actually beat up my Supreme Being inheritance. Now that I am in Immortal Ancient, I am going to beat your inheritor until he splits into 8 parts. Right, every time that Immortal Palace inheritor comes out, he always acts so cocky with old slaves following him, showing such a grand style. He can't be the bastard child of that old fart sleeping in Immortal Palace, right? Everyone became speechless. This brat's mouth really was vicious. This was undisguised slandering. At the same time, everyone felt the ancient copper palace that floated in the void tremble slightly. It was clear that the one inside was not just angered lightly. Did Celestial Clan come? Those scoundrels who kicked their benefactors in the teeth, you all should have known about my identity a long time ago, but didn't say anything about it all this time, wishing to steal my Kuan-Peng technique and other things. Truly worthless pieces of shit. Shahao said. When these words were spoken, everyone from Celestial Clan's expression changed. This brat was too vicious, needing to be punished. He was speaking this in front of all of the sects, exposing the Celestial Clan's secrets we didn't know before either. He is speaking nonsense. Celestial Clan's people hurriedly spoke up, hurriedly refuting his words. I believe with their nature, they would definitely do everything they can to refute it. They always showed different outwards appearances than what they truly felt, forget favors and violate justice. Shahai said. In the outside world, Celestial Clan felt huge hatred. This was cutting off the end of the road. What else could they say? The other inheritances looked at them, their expressions all peculiar. Phantom Drake Dao Gate, Fire Cloud Cavern, Luofu True Valley and others, all of you inheritances, rumored to be eternal in the world, always oppressing Sin Province, truly people without any sense of shame or virtue. My ancestors have guarded the desolate border, yet you all slander their descendants, treating them like prisoners. When these words were spoken, all sects of the higher realms were shaken up. I remember that you all threatened me that your clan has exceptional talents, of ancient freaks. I am looking forward to meeting them. They will definitely be completely slaughtered in Immortal Ancient. In the outside world's Fire Cloud Cavern, Phantom Drake Dao Gate and others were about to go mad. This wasn't only true for them. All of the inheritances that had their names mentioned, their faces all darkened, their hearts suppressing a wave of fury. Right, I have another identity. Back then, when I was in the lower realm, I already arrived into Spirit Realm through the Void God Realm, chasing a group of people for several hundred li. The one named Haotian is also me. When Shahao spoke up to hear, he revealed another brilliant smile. He took the initiative to reveal this fourth insignificant identity. This was definitely done on purpose. This kind of smile, this type of brilliance, for many inheritances, was an undisguised mockery, a type of humiliation. You will definitely die in Immortal Ancient. Someone cursed. I believe all those related should be gnashing their teeth in anger, right? Shahal said calmly, still looking towards the void. Not even the heavens could deal with me, allowing me to crawl out from the grave and live healthily. All of you can just start praying for your disciples. When he spoke up to here, Shahal suddenly raised his head, the aura of his entire being immediately surged, becoming like a devil king. Those people better not provoke me, or else I'll slaughter all those that I should slaughter, eat all those I should eat, make all those that should warm the bed accompany me. He spoke ostentatiously while laughing loudly. A few great sects, while feeling great anger, also shivered inwardly. They thought about too many things. This youth originally had 2 supreme being bones, yet in the end, he lost one during childhood, then removed the other after growing up, giving it to his younger brother before his death. Based on normal reasoning, he should have definitely died, yet he lived each time, moreover not crippled and becoming even stronger. He relied on himself to arrive in the higher realm, turning into Huang and Sin, establishing a brilliant reputation. Recently, he never even used his most powerful precious techniques, so just how powerful was he exactly? Everyone shivered inwardly. This youth was formidable. Without a supreme being bone, he still had an unmatched mana. Immortal Ancient would most likely be thrown into chaos because of him. I can finally put my all into fighting, no longer having to suppress myself. I can use all of my precious techniques. Shahal spoke. At the same time, a large pair of Kuan-Peng wings appeared behind him, as if they reached the clouds. They were accompanied by overflowing divine light. It was clear that that kind of aura was too intense, shocking many creatures behind him. There were some who were shocked, secretly taking action. Then, his wings shook slightly. Behind him, a loud horn sounded. All of the creatures that took action shattered, turning into bloody mists and crushed bones. The attitude of a devil king was fully displayed. This made everyone in the higher realms feel greatly shocked. He was going to put his all into the fight, becoming even more powerful than Huang or Sin. It really was unknown what kind of great storm was going to be raised. Within Immortal Ancient, on a stone staircase accompanied by chaotic energy, Shahal's back faced the remaining individuals, his figure exuding the imposing attitude of a devil king. Let's leave. The group of creatures no longer dared to provoke him, hurriedly leaving, fleeing towards the brightly colored world at the end of the bluestone path. That youth who had his back towards them, a pair of wings that reached the clouds, was releasing a heaven-overflowing pressure that made every single creature tremble with fear. Just the slight movement of those wings was enough to make a group of powerful experts shatter, blood and bones appear. Just how powerful was he exactly? Someone broke through, entering Immortal Ancient's secret Earth. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.